most prestigious stages. I'm also delighted to be joined by my co-commentator, Kath Fisher, who today makes her Farnborough history as the first female commentator to be part of the official commentary team. Welcome, Kath.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's really, really an honor to be working with you because you are making history this week. It's a landmark moment for the event, and we're both looking forward to bringing you all the action throughout the week. So just sit back, enjoy the atmosphere, and get ready for some unforgettable opening day here at Farnborough International Air Show 2026. Let's start off by going through the flying program, Kath. What's on today? What can we expect to see in the skies?
Right, so we're going to start our flying, or displays, at about 1:10 So in about 25 minutes, we're expecting the drop of the Red Devils parachute display team. We've got their commentator with us at the moment, who's getting ready to do a commentary and tell everyone about everything that was first coined in 1942 after the parachute regiment was deployed to North Africa during the Second World War, because the red sand, African sand, clung to the parachutes after landing, creating the illusion of a red tail, which caused German troops to dub the British paratroopers the Red Devils. Love that story. So as the Red Devils motto goes, they are ready for anything, and they are ready to jump out of the aircraft, hopefully. So back to you, Stella.
Yeah, so now if you look above, you'll see the aircraft making its way over the top of the landing area now. The plane is around 2,000 feet and is doing what is called the Woody Run, which stands for Wind Drift Indicator. The jump master and the stack pilot are now sat in the door of the plane, and they have thrown the two strips of paper, which is the woodies. So that is the craft paper in the air, and what this does, it gives the jump master an idea of exactly how strong the winds are and what direction they are going in. This allows him to come up with a plan of which way the aircraft is going to run in, and he will now be briefing the rest of the team and confirming any final plans which may need to happen for the jump. The aircraft is now going to climb to their altitude that they have planned, and the team will jump out and put on a very good parachute display for you all.
We should point out, because of the air traffic restrictions around Farnborough, in effect we have like a cone going up and spreading out where the aircraft can climb into. So it's narrowed down at the bottom here, but looking at his feet, he's up at 1,700 feet at the moment, but as he goes up, the cone will open up and give him more space to spread out. So again, because of these unique air traffic conditions here, that means he's got to do a spiral ascent.
So, as mentioned earlier, we do many displays each year. We travel all around the globe. We do a lot in the UK. However, we have done displays this year in Miami and New York, and hopefully later in this year we'll be going to Belgium. So one of the things the Red Devils is particularly famous for is the canopy formations you see in the sky. They do this by conducting a controlled collision in mid-air with one or more canopies. They then connect themselves together with special harnesses and transition into the formations you can see. So if we look up now, you'll see the aircraft is running in on its final jump run. Over the next few seconds, the team inside will be checking their parachute equipment and making sure everything is ready for the jump. So if you look up now, you can see 3 canopies and 1 wingsuit with smoke trailing. This wingsuit can be dropped out a mile short and make it all the way back. If you look up now, you can see some of the canopies going into their canopy formation. On our crew team today, we have Corporal Richard Kingston, Corporal Ollie Holt, and we have So if you look up into the sky, you can see one of our Red Devils flying our 7,000 square foot Union flag. It takes incredible skill to maneuver this flag, especially of that size into such a small landing area. And that was Sergeant Stephen Handley landing there. He was our JM, so he was the one spotting outside of the plane. And if you look up, you can see Lance Corporal Kai Fisher with our chain of smoke. Again, this is a very difficult one to fly. Please, everyone, give him a big cheer. Yeah, so back to our 7,000 square foot flag. This weighs 90 kilograms, so it's basically like jumping with a person on your front. They need a tandem parachute for this, which is kind of like a double-decker bus. Everyone, this is Lance Corporal Kai Fisher. If you look up again, you will see 3 of our canopies on their crew formation. This is called a triboside. We have on our triboside, we have Ryan Molt, we have Richard Kingston, and we have Ollie Hobbs. They have done a lot of training to be able to do this. You can now see them downplaning, and if you listen, you should be able to hear them split in just a few seconds now. And then we have Corporal Cam Clark following them, who is filming. Everyone again, please give a big cheer for these guys landing. So now we have Corporal Cameron Clark coming in to land. And then we still have our Union flag. It is always an absolute honour to be able to fly this Union flag into public displays and represent the British Army and the Parachute Regiment. Please, everyone, give a massive, massive round of applause. This is Corporal Oliver Goss coming in to land now with our Union flag. So now, as you can see, the team are removing all their parachute equipment and getting ready to leave the DZ. So everyone, please give one big final round of applause for the British Army's world-famous Red Devils.
Well, a huge thank you to you and the team. Amazing display. Are you doing any more this week, or are we just seeing you this once?
Yes, we will be here again on Friday. We will have a stand-up so that everyone can come and chat to us, ask us questions.
Brilliant.
See everyone pack their parachutes.
Excellent. Well, thanks. And thanks to the whole team.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
So we'll see you again on Friday. So, ladies and gentlemen, coming from parachutes descending across Farnborough, we are going to go to the other end of the aviation extreme spectrum, because it's time for the United States Air Force F-35A. I still can't make up my mind. What's making more noise, the commentator or the aircraft itself? So very shortly, we're going to be handing over Staff Sergeant Pendleton, and they're going to be able to guide you through what is without doubt one of the most potent aircraft in air forces around the world, the 5th generation F-35A. And again, a huge thank you to the United States Air Force for adopting their normal routine so it can fit in this very restricted airspace at Farnborough. It's going to be a treat, and it's going to be loud.
It's time. Aim high, fly, fight, and win. From the F-35A demonstration team from Hill Air Force Base in Utah, please welcome Master Sergeant Lenny Buscemi to the mic.
150 years of the United States of America, we honor the enduring legacy of freedom and the air power that sustains it. From Europe to the Pacific, this fifth-generation fighter stands at the forefront of a new era of collective defense. Forged through a shared sacrifice, this aircraft has redefined modern air combat, empowering democracies of the world to deter, protect, and when necessary, strike with unmatched precision. I am Master Sergeant Leonard Buscemi from Detroit, Michigan, Team Superintendent and your narrator for today's performance. With me is our Team Chief, Technical Sergeant Justin Pendleton from Plattsburgh, New York. Our team hails from the 388th Fighter Wing at Hill Air Force Base, Utah, the Air Force's first F-35 combat-coded wing. In just a moment, our demonstration pilot and team commander, Major Sean Rambo Laughlin, will arrive on target. Every maneuver you'll see today reflects the raw power, precision, and discipline our airmen demonstrate around the world. And now, I present to you the newest and most lethal fifth-generation fighter aircraft in the world. Your United States Air Force's F-35A Lightning. The F-35 possesses a superior advantage in combat due to the adversary's reduced ability to detect the aircraft through use of stealth technology. In order to remain deadly, we must maintain a clean profile by carrying new weapons internally. With an internal payload capacity of over 6,000 pounds, the F-35 is the most lethal multi-role fighter aircraft in the world today. If you ever wonder where those munitions hide, here is your answer. The F-35 possesses the ability to reach speeds of 1.6 times the speed of sound, which equates to nearly 1,200 miles per hour. Today, we will showcase just a fraction of the engine's power. Watch out as Major Laughlin accelerates at just below the speed of sound, covering an incredible 3 football fields per second. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for the sound of air superiority on the high-speed pass. combat maneuverability is crucial. The Lightning II's advanced flight controls combined with the most powerful fighter engine ever built give it an impressive 1,500-foot turn radius. As Major Lofton approaches show center, he will light the afterburner and bank sharply, pressing him into the seat with up to 9 Gs or 9 times the force of gravity. After completing the turn, the F-35 will power straight up in the vertical, quickly changing directions, flipping end over end in a maneuver we like to call the lightning loop. Coming up from your left, the inverted pass. Watch now as Major Lofton rolls in for the afterburner pass. Flies across the aerobatic container, tracing a square in the sky. As he reaches the top of the loop, he will remain inverted and reduce the speed of the aircraft to just over 100 knots.
Now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now. The Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now.
Slow speed in flight is crucial in combat. The potent combination of sophisticated flight controls coupled with the most powerful fighter engine ever built make it possible to reduce the F-35 speed to less than 100 knots. Coming in from your right, Major Lofton will demonstrate the F-35's slow speed capability. And then, just as he passes show center, you'll once again witness the raw power of the engine as he lights the afterburner and accelerates the aircraft in a near vertical climb. Inverted to reposition the aircraft by performing a split S maneuver. As he returns to show center, he will accelerate rapidly and snap the F-35 through a series of aileron rolls to demonstrate the Lightning II's impressive roll maneuverability. Dropping it from your left, Major Laughlin executing the opposing rolls.
Word on the street side, make it look easy.
In the world, the F-35's flight controls give our pilots a distinct advantage to outmaneuver their opponents. As Major Laughlin approaches show center, he will complete more than 135 degrees of heading change in only 3 seconds. Sliding the tail of the F-35 through the turn, then powerfully climbing out of the maneuver. Closing in from your right, ladies and gentlemen, the tactical pitch. As Major Laughlin prepares to land, we would like to give a shout out to our expert maintenance team who made today's demonstration possible. Our F-35 dedicated crew chief, Staff Sergeant Jose Flores Velez from San Lorenzo, Puerto Rico. Staff Sergeant Braden Bissell from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Senior Airman Orrin Hamtree from Gulfport, Mississippi. And Senior Airman Kylan Warder from Plain City, Utah. Our team's public affairs representative, Captain Emma McHenry from Naples, Florida. Staff Sergeant Zachary Rufus from Dallas, Texas. This will conclude today's demonstration. We hope you have all enjoyed just a brief display of only a fraction of the F-35's full combat capability. As an integral part of the United States Air Force, the F-35 Lightning IIs are ready to defend our nation's skies and dominate the battle space anywhere on the globe. Always ready to aim high, fly, fight, and win. On behalf of the United States Air Force, the Commander of Air Combat Command, General Adrian Spain, and all of the men and women of the United States Air Force, thank you for your attendance, your patriotism, and your support. If you enjoyed today's performance, make sure you like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at F-35 Demo Team and tag us in all of your social media posts at hashtag F-35 Demonstration Team. Thank you.
No, thank you, and thank the United States Air Force for such a wonderful display. And as I said, it's a completely different end of the spectrum when it comes to flying, from parachutes to fifth-generation fighters in full afterburn, and some rock and roll music from our American friends. With the aircraft is transitioning
Yeah.
into the hover.
We're already in it. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The vertical aerospace prototype is on show right now. The aircraft has entered into a hover, so all 8 motors are spinning up at their full RPM. And our pilot today, Cy Davies, is starting to accelerate down the runway. He's pushing forward on his left-hand joystick. The motors are starting to tilt forward, and the aircraft is gaining acceleration and gaining speed. And that transfers the lift off of those motors and onto the wing, as you see now. And the aircraft has already got through some of the most challenging aerodynamics that you can see. And right now, as it passes the commentary booth, we can see that those tilts of the first 4 motors are completely in their forward position. And if you look carefully, the aft motors are barely even spinning now. So that means all of the lift on the aircraft is completely on the wing, and we have achieved an accelerating transition, and the aircraft moves away and rotates away from the airport. And wow, what a moment for aviation.
Absolutely.
Electric
Yeah,
aviation
you saw it.
there.
You can stay back in the day in 2026. I was there when the first
We were
eVTOL
there.
took to the British skies, and you can see the trailing motors now. The aircraft propellers have locked off, so
Yeah.
they don't have what's called induced drag, and that means the forward flight is a lot easier for them.
Yeah, the motors actually stow, so they're actually normally in a 90-degree configuration, those back 4 motors. But we have a maneuver, a parking maneuver, where they stow on top of each other and they park perfectly in line with the aerodynamics to allow further endurance.
So-
And look how beautiful that is.
It's into cruise now. What does it cruise at normally? What's
It's about 150 miles an hour, so that's the kind of specification. Yeah, what a sight here at Farnborough today.
So these aircraft, eVTOLs, are also extremely robust when it comes to future software upgrades and hardware, because you've left physical space in the airframe as well, haven't you?
So the platform, we're designing a platform really, so this is a starting point, but we just build from here. We can easily pivot into a defense variant, so adding a hybrid powertrain system to extend that range and unlock amazing opportunities in defense. We can bolt on autonomy. We can expand the cabin size because we've got a really roomy cabin. So it is a very versatile platform, and yeah.
How do you go about, though, getting certification for an aircraft that's literally introducing a complete new category of aviation?
Yes, that's right, it is a new category. Well, the answer to that is that we work very closely with the regulators. So for years now, we've been working with the CAA, with EASA, and we've been working together to understand what is needed to make this safe enough for everyone to travel on. And we continue that process. So we've been flight testing for over 2 years now with this aircraft, and the CAA have been with us every step of the way, and we've really worked into an amazing partnership.
Now, eVTOL, as we said, right in front of us, as it goes through past the commentary position, this aircraft will be taxiing down towards the static park afterwards. So if you want to get a good close-up look to it, just off to the right of the commentary position, sort of in the middle of where the static aircraft are parked, pop down, you get a really good
Yeah,
view.
come and have a look. We've also in Hall 4 as well to see the production version of what you're seeing today. And at this moment as well, as we are in our cruise moment, it's also worth reflecting, why are we even doing this? Why should vertical aerospace and other eVTOL players really have a crack at this? And we kind of see it in two main areas. The first one is an acute problem. There's so much congestion, there's so much traffic in big cities, it's really difficult to kind of get to where you want to go, if that's an airport, whether that's a crowded venue like today. I'm sure many of the spectators coming to Farnborough today had some issues with traffic. So this kind of technology can really unlock and leapfrog over it. And that's really the kind of engineering problem. But on a wider side, on a vision, engineers, it's not just about solving problems, it's about building a better future. And every pivotal technology change over the last couple of centuries, whether that be rail, personal car transport, commercial aviation, they've all changed the way we actually live. Yes, they buy you time, but really they change your life and they allow you to do different things. They allow you to have different business meetings. They allow you to potentially save a life. And this technology is all about unlocking a future where we connect these communities together and really bring back time to people.
Now it's vertical, comes around the corner. I can see him slowing down already. So are we going to see him going into another transition?
We will indeed.
Forward
So
flight into the hover.
as the aircraft completes its loop, we'll start to slow down, and the reverse of everything we saw in the first half is beginning to happen. So the aft motors will start to spin up, and we will start to redistribute the lift from the wing back onto the motors. The front four motors will start to tilt back, and the transition, that detransition process is beginning. So you can see the aircraft approaching, slowing down, Sai is pulling back, our pilot Sai is pulling back on the left-hand joystick, commanding that deceleration. And it's worth also noting that the pilot experience for this type of aircraft is really easy. I'd love to glamorize it, but we have built a very easy aircraft to fly. In fact, I did this route in the simulator a few days ago. It is a really unbelievable way of flying an aircraft, just commanding where you want to go.
At the moment, obviously, you've got a helicopter license, you've got a fixed-wing license. Is there a category of eVTOL licenses
Well,
yet?
not yet, but it will happen. It will happen, and that's how we'll certify it, and that's how we'll train pilots. And we see as it passes the commentary booth now, the aircraft is slowing down.
Wow, fascinating.
Look at that.
So there's a critical point there where obviously the lift generated by the wing is overtaken by the lift generated by the four engines.
Absolutely, yeah. So you can see now the tilts of the front four motors are pretty much facing fully up, and the aircraft comes into a hover, slowing down in front of the crowd. And we'll just dwell here, and Sai will enjoy himself in the last few moments of the hover. What an unbelievable sight.
Fantastic. Aviation history at Farnborough International Airshow 2026. The first demonstration of the British-built eVTOL aircraft here, and Vertical are doing it.
Bristol-based, and what was the last Bristol-built aircraft to come to Farnborough Airshow, I wonder?
Concorde.
Concorde.
There you go.
And we see, turn to the crowd. What a moment. Listen to the sound as well. Quite the contrast to the last one.
Well, this is what makes it so special. I mean, I know that you guys are talking to the Ministry of Defence and the DoD. These would be absolutely critical behind enemy lines, or if you need to do resupplies, because they're so stealthy. You send them up at night, nobody knows they're going to be there.
It's so exciting to put these into the hands of customers and operators and see what happens, see what they're used for. But also, I mean, as an engineer, what a technology. Look at it hover there. And this is a really proud moment. There's a lot of people from Vertical Aerospace here today, and I'm sure there will be a tear in their eye as they watch this, because this is an amazing, amazing moment.
Yeah, to see it yaw like that without any tail rotor, it's just, it's a different class. I know I keep saying it, but it is exactly a different class.
And there we have it. Landed safely back on planet Earth. Wow. Aviation history.
So we'll transition the front engine forward again so he can ground maneuver.
Yep.
And as I said earlier, we're hoping that the aircraft will be taxiing off to the right, up by the United Airlines aircraft, and just beside the Chinook and the C-60 up there. So if you want to get a close-up look, pop up.
Absolutely, everyone, please do come to Hall 4, come to the static display. And as well, that flight, all of that energy that took there, has probably cost less than a lunch at Farnborough. So
I don't know, you're not dining in the right place. Let's get out there more. And how long does it take to charge that, actually? Let's just say that it's done its full mission, it's on its minimum charge. It's got to come back, get recharged before it goes up again. How long would that take?
Our charge time is 10 minutes.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way.
Not from the plug, obviously. I mean, it's like
it's maybe a big plug.
It's a big plug. Okay, just checking.
But yeah, I mean, this is here, this is now. It's not a science project. This is reality, and over the next coming years, you're going to be seeing more and more of aircraft like this. And it's been a pleasure for Vertical Aerospace to bring this to Farnborough and to show the world off. I mean, what a moment, and thank you very much for having us.
Charlie, it's been a pleasure. We're going to see you, though, all during the week. It's not just today. Yeah?
It's not just today, throughout the week as well, so I'll be back.
You're a star. You've got a rising career. Forget about engineering. You could be a commentator.
I'll do both. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Johnny, and thanks to everybody in the Vertical team. So we move away from the future of vertical flight and eVTOLs. We're going to come back to a bit more traditional aircraft here for the Farnborough. It's the Airbus A350. Kath, tell me, what's coming up with the 350?
Yes, indeed. It's the A350-1000 for our air show this year. Just backtracking on the runway now to our left as we're looking at it. The crew today is the Chief Test Pilot, Malcolm Ridley, the local Chief Test Pilot from Toulouse, well, Frank Bushnell, Test Flight Engineer Jean-Michel Pin, another Test Flight Engineer Christophe Nonot, and a third one, which is Philip Pan. That's the crew. And the aircraft flying today, MSN 59, was the first prototype of the A350-1000, which made the first flight of this version back on the 25th of November 2016. It's affectionately known as the long-range leader, this aircraft, because its range now is nearly 9,000 nautical miles. It's got a longer fuselage version, which is 73.8 meters in total length, and seats around 350 to 410 passengers in 3 different classes up on these routes of up to 8,900 nautical miles. This model features the more powerful Rolls-Royce Trent XWB-97 engine versus the shorter A350-900. Lined up on the runway, just waiting for permission for takeoff. And it's begun its roll now. Get your cameras ready now. The aircraft there commenced a steep climb to 30 degrees of pitch at approximately 160 knots. Staying away from the crowd, and it's going to be climbing now to 2,000 feet. Commercial orders and in-service status to date. By the end of June this year, there were 1,595 total A350 family orders from 68 different customers. And deliveries by the end of June this year, Airbus had delivered a total of 725 A350s, which are flying on over 1,300 different routes. First A350-900 entered service in January 2015 with Qatar Airways, and the first A350-1000 first started operation with Qatar Airways again in February 2018. The A350 family is constantly evolving. The newest incremental improvements include a 4-inch wider cabin combined with a 1.2-ton structural weight reduction and a 3-ton increase in maximum takeoff weight. This capability gives it extra payload range flexibility. In September 2023, EASA certified a new 322 metric ton maximum takeoff weight for the A350-1000 here. And this new maximum takeoff weight boosts the aircraft range by about 180 nautical miles, leading to its very impressive 8,900 nautical mile range. The commonality of the A350 family as well features a high level compared to the A350-900 with a 95% common systems part numbers and, very importantly, a same type rating. The A350-1000 ULR is a new special variant and was selected by Qantas for its Project Sunrise, which will be specially configured to enable the world's longest commercial flights with flight times of around 22 hours. This would example link Sydney and Melbourne with destinations such as London and New York non-stop for the first time ever. These flight tests are currently underway, following its first flight on the 2nd of June 2026.
If I'm doing 22 hours in an aircraft, I'm going to be paying for extra legroom.
Me too. There is a freighter variant as well of the A350, the A350F, which is based on the structure of the A350-1000, will embark on its test flight program later this year, and will have a payload of up to 111 tons, flying up to 4,700 nautical miles. And very importantly in the show, we've been talking about electric aircraft and hybrid aircraft. Also here we're looking at they are looking at sustainable aviation fuel usage. And the A350, like all the airliners which Airbus produces, is already certified to use 50% sustainable aviation fuel. Airbus's goal is to achieve a certification of 100% of this by 2030 for commercial aircraft and for helicopters. And Airbus has also explored the use of 100% sustainable aviation fuel on 2 engines simultaneously on its other A350 test aircraft. The A350 family key features. This brings together the very latest in aerodynamics, design, and advanced technologies to provide a 25% step change in fuel efficiency and a 25% lower seat mile cost compared to the current aluminium long-range competitors. The A350 is providing the versatility to meet airlines' expectations and is also setting new standards in terms of passenger comfort. It's got its 3-class configuration, as I mentioned previously. It offers a standard 9 abreast in economy, complemented with premium economy, which is 8 abreast, and business class with 4 abreast. 70% of the airframe is made of advanced materials, combining composites, 53%, titanium and modern aluminium alloys. Composite materials are corrosion and fatigue-free, resulting in easier maintenance. 2 Rolls-Royce Trent XWB engines, which power the A350, generate 25% lower CO2 emissions than previous generation large turbofan engines. And as I mentioned before as well, the A350 family has got the common type rating. Both product lines are complementary, and 85% of the A350 customers are A330 customers or operators. So aircraft is now geared down, configured for landing. The important overview facts, I think, of this display and this commentary is there's 25% less fuel burn in this aircraft, a 25% lower operating cost, and 25% lower CO2 emissions.
So Airbuses are very, very good at this slow speed approach, doing a dumbbell approach as he's coming back in on 06. And the aircraft, you'll see full flaps deployed. And I know that he's keen to stay down this end of the airfield because that's where he's parked up. So let's see how short he can make this approach and land as he comes in. The Rolls Royce is spooled up, pitch it down about 5 degrees, let the power off, sink the aircraft onto the bars at the end. And that's why he's a test pilot, because he can just grease it on like that. Reverse thrust engaged now. See full aerodynamic braking's taking place. As, all the gates and doors are open, as we call it. Such a magnificent, huge aircraft, just brought to a standstill. Didn't even use half the runway. That's impressive. So the A350 now will be taxiing back off the runway, and that means coming up next is a unique aircraft, well, helicopter I should say. It is of course the Chinook, and JEC are going to be giving us a full TAC demo of the Chinook. If you have arrived recently, just to give you an update on what else we're going to see flying today. After the Chinook, we will be having the GE hybrid in the shape of the Sharp 340, but with a very, very unique engine on board. Then Beta Technologies will be flying the CX300, and just coming up towards 3 o'clock this afternoon.
So eyes open from the left, we have the Chinook in sight. Handing back over to you, Sean.
Thank you very much. My name, as said, is Flight Lieutenant Sean Ahern, manager of the Chinook Royal Demo team, and I'll be your host as we celebrate this capable, battle-proven aircraft, which this year celebrates 45 years of continuous service with the Royal Air Force. This year's Royal demonstration highlights not only the surprising agility of the Chinook platform, but also its indispensable capability in extreme conditions, from air assault, casualty evacuation, and rapid artillery raids, to humanitarian assistance, aerial firefighting, aid to the civil authorities, or as a crucial lifeline to evacuate British civilians trapped in war zones around the world, the RAF Chinook remains capable, trusted, and ready. Today, we're proud to work with Joint Helicopter Support Squadron, or JHSS, who stand ready to deploy anywhere in the world to support UK helicopter operations under threat in any climate, and who are critical to the effective operation of all UK helicopter types. You can now see the Chinook Mark 6 Alpha approaching from crowd left. Underslung beneath the aircraft is a British Army Land Rover and trailer occupying one of the aircraft's 3 external cargo hooks. At 3 tons, this constitutes less than a third of the aircraft's maximum payload, which can comprise a variety of configurations, including ISO containers, armoured vehicles, or 2 unserviceable Apache helicopters. At the controls today is Royal Demo Captain Matt Whirl, better known as Whirly to his friends. Whirly cut his teeth on operations in the Middle East and is now a tactics instructor on the mighty 18 Squadron. In the co-pilot seat is Flight Lieutenant Sam Randall. A proud Manxman, Sam joined 18 Squadron in 2023 and has since honed his flying skills around the world. Carrying of underslung loads is a crucial core function of Chinook operations, redistributing vital equipment along the front lines, resupplying remote or inaccessible base areas, and recovering broken down vehicles or aircraft. Taking command of the aircraft's positioning as they approach the landing site is Sergeant Cammy Torrance. Cammy joined the RAF in 2019 and 18 Squadron in 2024. The crew must balance speed with smooth handling to get the Land Rover safely and accurately into position. Operating the Chinook effectively requires all 4 members of the crew to work together seamlessly as the rear crew marshal the aircraft precisely and efficiently into position over the intercom. This process requires some trust, skill, and years of experience to perfect, as well as the ability to count backwards from 10, a high-function skill for a Chinook crewman. With the external loads gone, the crew will land on to release an internally loaded support vehicle. On top of its impressive external loading capability, the Chinook's tandem rotor design gives it a large internal loading area. The Chinook's cabin can carry side-by-side buggies, Land Rovers, or even rigid inflatable boats, dispatched from out of sight and sound range to support Royal Marine and Special Boat Service raids. When speed is paramount, smaller vehicles like quad bikes, motorcycles, or even e-bikes can be off the ramp and on task in mere seconds. Internal loads must be securely restrained for the harshest maneuvering at low altitudes, so releasing them quickly is an important skill for a Chinook crewman, enabling the aircraft to get away from the landing site and safely back on the move quickly. Once the unload is complete, Whirly will clear the landing site with an over-the-shoulder departure, presenting the armoured underside of the aircraft to potential enemy fire during a period of maximum vulnerability. The Chinook's 2 powerful Honeywell engines and tandem rotor design enable it to climb or accelerate very quickly to a maximum speed of 160 knots or 185 miles per hour. Now the crew lifts, and Whirly will bring the aircraft up and back around to escape enemy position. He stays low to avoid detection by enemy sensors and to make it harder for conventional weapons to take an accurate shot at the aircraft. With the aircraft clear of the landing site, the JHSS team will rapidly de-rig the Land Rover and trailer in preparation for use. Out on the left now, Whirly will reposition the aircraft with a wingover. He will raise the nose to bleed off airspeed, enabling a tighter turn around the corner. At the apex of the turn, he trades his height for airspeed to neatly establish along the display line at cruising speed. While not a truly aerobatic aircraft, Chinook must be flown dynamically and aggressively very close to the ground. So mastering coordinated maneuvers like this is vital to developing the skills required to maintain control of the aircraft in a threat environment. Now the team will show off the mighty Chinook in plan view with a 360-degree climbing turn. Let's hear some blade slap. The agility and power of the Chinook make it a real pleasure to fly and enable it to perform well in high temperature or high altitude conditions. Prepared for combat, Chinook boasts a layer of ballistic armor up to the windows, a rear-facing M60 machine gun, and a pair of M134 miniguns for broadside protection. Now the crew will bring those weapons to bear in a dog-bone defensive profile. Whirly positions the aircraft to protect friendly forces on the ground and crowd center, while Cammy brings the port gun to bear on enemy positions. Today, that's you. Sorry. As the port gun reaches the end of its weapons arc, Whirly will snap the aircraft around to bring the M60 on the ramp to bear on target. Now he'll reposition for another run, turning as tightly as he can to keep the aircraft's weapons on target and firing for as much time as possible. Every second out of arcs gives the enemy time to take stock and take aim. And Whirly races to get the guns back on target, unleashing 3,000 rounds per minute from its rotating barrels, with a sound almost as iconic as the Chinook itself. Now the crew will approach for a nose-down quick stop, bringing the aircraft to a halt from cruising speed in just a few seconds with the helicopter equivalent of a handbrake turn. Entering at 140 miles per hour, Whirly will pull back on the stick to commence the deceleration before flicking the aircraft around the nose, presenting the flat side of the fuselage to the airflow and slowing the aircraft much more quickly. And now cameras at the ready to meet our #1 crewman, Sergeant Liam Mannion. Liam joined the RAF in 2019 and arrived on 18 Squadron last year. Liam has already qualified to fly the Chinook from the harsh heat of the desert to the unforgiving cold of the Arctic Circle, with further experience flying search and rescue in Wales. An impressive achievement for a man with such impractically large hands. Please share the love and give Liam a big wave. For better or for worse, he can see you. As the #1 crewman at the rear of the aircraft, Liam is responsible for defending the tail of the M60, monitoring of aircraft mechanical systems, maintaining lookout for enemy forces and marshalling of external loads, as well as ensuring cargo, troops, and casualties in the cabin are effectively secured and ready for their next event. During an air assault, Liam's are also the first boots on the ground in the combat area, as he leaves the ramp to direct the assault force onto their target, ensuring they have the situational awareness required to seize the initiative. In Afghanistan, Chinook crewmen were regularly the first target Taliban militants would see on the ground, and their bravery contributed to mission success on numerous occasions. Now Whirly pulls to maximum power for the Gorny climb. A manoeuvre first seen in the Bosnia conflict, it has no tactical application, but was used to show off the awesome power of the aircraft to other helicopter types. All of those other aircraft are now sadly out of service, but the mighty Chinook continues to get the job done. While rightly famed for its achievements in hot and dusty theatres like Iraq, Afghanistan and West Africa, the Chinook force is also trained and ready for operations in Europe, the Arctic High North, and from the decks of Royal Navy and Fleet auxiliary ships. Having climbed safely, if flamboyantly, out of the range of small arms fire, Whirly will bring the aircraft back down to ground centre with a tactical descent. In low-tech threat environments, aircraft are safest either at high altitudes or down very low to the ground, where they are harder to see or shoot at. Transitioning from high to low is a moment of maximum danger and must be flown as quickly as possible without overstressing the rotor system. Whirly manoeuvres the aircraft in the descent to make himself a more difficult target. For real, this would involve numerous changes of direction at high angles of banking and can be a handful to control in hot or high conditions. Safely at low level, Whirly prepares to reposition the aircraft once more for a running landing. Supporting Chinook operations both at air shows and at war is an expert cadre of RAF engineers who work day and night to keep these workhorses on task and on target, tackling everything from routine servicing to patching up battle damage and even conducting major repairs under enemy fire and in extreme environmental conditions. Chinook engineers are highly skilled and ready for anything. If the aircraft loses an engine to battle damage, Chinook has the performance to maintain flight and escape the threat area on the one remaining engine. But slowing the aircraft down to a hover requires a lot of power, so crews train to land onto the aft wheels at speed, like a fixed-wing aeroplane, conserving energy to get the aircraft safely onto the ground when engine output is limited. Whirly conserves airspeed for as long as he can, flaring the aircraft to cushion it onto the ground at a maximum speed of 60 knots or 70 miles per hour. Safely on the runway, Whirly uses the unique aerodynamic qualities of the Chinook to balance on its aft wheels. This technique can also be used to land on steep slopes or ledges, where the rear of the aircraft is landed for loading and unloading, while the front of the aircraft remains in flight. And now for another Chinook party trick, the reverse taxi and takeoff. A useful capability when space for parking is tight, or when the aircraft's downwash threatens to damage nearby vehicles or equipment. But mostly, we like to do it because we can. Much like reversing a car, the aircraft gets increasingly twitchy as speed builds, so smooth, calm handling is required to do this safely and efficiently. Ladies and gentlemen, to complete the 2026 Chinook roll demonstration, Whirly brings the aircraft up to crowd centre for a goodbye bow. He's been absolutely thrilled to show off the aircraft for you today, as have always from the Chinook Force and JHSS, but particularly Whirly, who welcomed his second daughter to the world just on Saturday evening. Now he prepares to transition over the shoulder once again to depart and to finish the display programme for this year's Farnborough Air Show. Folks, you've been absolutely brilliant, and we have been the 2026 RAF Chinook Roll Demonstration Team. We look forward to evacuating you all from a war zone soon.
Sean, thank you, and thank you very much for the whole team. A fantastic display of this versatile helicopter that just contributes so much in so many ways to the British Armed Forces. Long may it continue. It has got a long future ahead of it, I hope, and the upgrades continue. I can't really see a replacement coming along. I can't see anything in the pipeline that could do the work that it does.
Well, there is a program underway for a batch of new aircraft, which will be in over the coming years. And there may well be further updates on Chinook Force in the future.
We shall keep a scan of Odium's, what's going on down there. So, Kath, what have we got next?
Well, next we have the GE Aerospace Hybrid Saab 340B, which you will be doing the commentary for, I believe.
Yes, yep, this is a Saab 340 in itself is nothing particularly. It's a regional turboprop jet. It was developed in the 80s. It's very well respected airframe, loved by the pilots and by the people that operate it because of ease of maintenance. But this aircraft in particular has had some major work done on it. It's an aircraft in its own class. In the same way, hybrid cars are very popular. I myself have one. It's taking the same sort of technology. You're using the So off to my left, I can see the Saab 340 aircraft still on the taxiway, yes, and taken to the runway. You'll also notice on the main runway, the vehicles coming up and down, they're doing a FOD inspection, obviously with the downwash from the Chinook. If there was anything loose out there, that would more than be enough force to move that. So a quick FOD runway inspection taking place before the Saab will line up on runway 06. So, if we look to our left, we can see turning onto the runway is the hybrid electric flight demonstrator from GE Aerospace. As I said, this aircraft is a modified 30-seat passenger Saab 340B, call sign hybrid, if you're listening out on your scanners. And today, it's going to be making history as the first airline-sized aircraft to publicly demonstrate megawatt-class hybrid electric propulsion in flight. The program builds on more than a decade of GE Aerospace innovation and leverages from NASA's Electrified Powertrain Flight Demonstration Project. Key collaborators are also Boeing and Beta Technologies. As we can see, the FOD inspection continues as he comes back down the runway. And I'll expect he'll be turning off very shortly. And hopefully that will clear the runway for use. And the Saab will be given its clearance. So sharp left right at the end for the FOD. And then come back up. For he clears the way. Hybrid is being flown today by Beta pilots Chris Capitou and Nick Wilson. As the FOD vehicle exits the runway left, just going to listen out. So pilots have been cleared for our display. So listen out for that unique sound of the hybrid engine as it spools up and taxis here, creating again history at the Farnborough International Air Show 2026. Aircraft's going to accelerate to about 100 knots. Pitch, positive climb. Now you can see the very distinctive cowling on the modified engine. Very different from the other engine on the left-hand side. What makes this aircraft special is one of those turboprop engines has been paired with an electric motor generator. Think of it as a hybrid system for an airline-sized aircraft. And that turbine engine and electrical system work together to drive the propeller. Traditionally, aircraft takes off and built big enough for the hardest moments of flight, takeoff, climb, and other times when maximum power is needed. But once the aircraft is cruising, it usually needs much less power, and GE Aerospace is demonstrating a new approach. Use electrical boost where extra power is needed, and let the main propulsion system be designed for efficient cruising. And as the aircraft comes back across show center, the pilot will descend down to 300 feet and engage the hybrid system into motor mode. This is the first ever public demonstration of electric assisted in an airline. As the aircraft is climbing out up to 1,000 feet, the batteries are providing the extra power, not coming direct from the engine. Earlier during the summer, the test flight campaign, GE Aerospace and Beta successfully validated hybrid operations and performance above 30,000 feet, which of course is commercial aviation altitude. The aircraft's going to come back towards us at 1,500 feet and 150 knots. And into generate mode segment. As the aircraft passes the GE Aerospace chalet, the pilots will now switch the hybrid system into generate mode. And this means as the aircraft descends back towards show center at 500 feet, the system itself is generating power and recharging the battery. That's how I feel when I'm in my hybrid car at the top of a hill. I can see the EV light coming on. I think, oh, I'm actually collecting charge from this. You'll notice the Saab 340 has the same beautiful livery as the GE Aerospace 747 flying test bed, which is also on display here at Farnborough International Air Show. The lessons from this flight demonstrator will inform the future of flight for all commercial aircraft, including the wide bodies like the 747. The hybrid is collecting real data on how electric and turbine power work together during climb, cruise, descent, maneuvering, and approach. Also notice there's a helicopter up there, and that's a camera ship that we have doing some filming here today. They wanted to capture from every angle possible this historical moment at Farnborough for the first ever demonstration of this hybrid technology. So the aircraft is now leveling down to 700 feet. A right-hand turn, he's going to come back towards crowd center. As hybrid passes over, just notice those beautiful belly shots of plane, highlighting this close collaboration between GE Aerospace and Beta Technologies working together to accelerate the future of flight. So as the aircraft climbs up, it'll level out at 1,500 feet. Then we're going to see it descending on a left-hand turn as the aircraft configures itself for a landing. First, of course, we'll do the flaps. And if you've got your binoculars out, you'll see the gear starting to come down as well. Aircraft's going to slow down to 120 knots. For a slower flyover. Hybrid is a bridge to the future. It's helping answer those practical questions that must be solved before hybrid electric propulsion can be applied more broadly. How much electricity power is needed? When should it be used? How should it be controlled? How does it affect the airflow performance? And how can a full system be certified and operate safely? This aircraft is a glimpse into GE Aerospace and its partners testing new propulsion architectures at meaningful airline scale. EPFD has helped move hydroelectric propulsion concept to actual flight, as we see here today at Farnborough International Air Show 2026. So hybrid is now preparing itself to come in for landing. It's going to level off at 500 feet after it's finished its turn. Speed reduced back down to 140 knots. There we go, configured for landing. Flaps out, gear out. Nice tight 360-degree turn completed. Lining up on the runway. 06. Safely touchdown. And a huge thank you to everybody from GE and Beta Technologies for this insight into the future of hybrid technologies. And that completes the demonstration, pointing towards the future of flight. So Beta Technologies up next. They've just been given a clearance for takeoff. It is, of course, the CX-300. Kath, tell me more about this aircraft. Is it an aircraft? It's an eVTOL? What is it? eVTOL.
Yeah. So Beta Technologies, again, the future of regional electric aviation and carrying on the theme of greener aviation, which is something we should be looking at in this day and age. Beta Technologies CX-300 is one of the most advanced all-electric aircraft currently in development and is helping redefine the future of regional air transport. There she is. I have an attack there. Developed by Beta Technologies, which is a Vermont-based aerospace company founded in 2017. This CX-300 has been designed as a practical, conventional takeoff and landing, so a CTOL aircraft that can operate from existing airports while producing zero in-flight emissions. And that's quite an important point. It can operate now. It's ready to go on any existing airports due to the conventional takeoff and landing of it. Rather than waiting for the widespread infrastructure that's going to be required for air taxis, Beta is focused on creating an aircraft that can enter service using today's aviation network. Unlike many electric aircraft projects that rely on the vertical takeoff technology, the CX-300 uses a traditional runway, which greatly simplifies the certification and operations whilst allowing operators to take advantage of existing airport facilities. The aircraft shares much of its design with Beta's Alia A250 eVTOL, reducing those development costs and creating a common platform for both aircraft types. It's powered by a high-performance electric propulsion system driving a rear-mounted pusher propeller. The CX-300 is therefore remarkably quiet compared to these conventional piston or turboprop aircraft. Typically cruises at around 105 knots, reaching a maximum speed of approximately 135 knots, and has a demonstrated range of around 336 nautical miles. And that's all on one single charge. And importantly, recharge time is also less than 1 hour, using Beta's rapid charging network, making multiple daily sectors very practical. The aircraft is designed to carry up to 5 passengers with 1 pilot, or approximately 1,500 pounds of cargo, with a spacious cargo compartment of around 200 cubic feet, making it particularly attractive for freight, medical logistics, and express parcel operations. Early customers have included organisations involved with medical transport, cargo distribution, and regional passenger services, demonstrating how versatile this aircraft really is. One of Beta's greatest strengths is its vertically integrated approach. The company designs and manufactures not only the aircraft itself, but also the electric motors, the battery systems, and the charging infrastructure. And this allows tighter quality control and ensures that operators have access to a complete ecosystem rather than just purchasing an aircraft. Hundreds of charging stations have already been planned or installed across North America and Europe to support future operations. Certification is progressing steadily with the US Federal Aviation Administration, and Beta has accumulated thousands of miles of real-world flight testing across North America and Europe. Demonstration tours have included flights to major aviation events such as the Paris Air Show and the UK, proving that electric aircraft are capable of practical regional operations rather than remaining purely experimental. For regional airlines, cargo operators and emergency medical services, the CX-300 offers significant advantages. Electric propulsion dramatically reduces the fuel costs, lowers maintenance requirements thanks to fewer moving parts, and virtually eliminates local emissions. Noise levels are substantially lower, as we can tell today, making operations more acceptable near more highly populated areas. These benefits make the aircraft particularly well suited to short regional routes where conventional aircraft can be too expensive to operate. The Beta Technologies CX-300 represents a major step towards practical electric aviation. Instead of trying to revolutionize every aspect of air transport at once, it demonstrates how sustainable flight can be introduced using existing airports, proven operating procedures, and reliable technology. As battery performance continues to improve and certification is completed, The CX-300 is positioned to become one of the world's first commercially successful electric aircraft. And there was a wonderful demonstration of its capabilities on the airfield. To get a closer look at the CX-300, she'll be parking up towards the statics. And the Embraer also now taxiing for their demonstration. And we're still using runway 6 today. The northeasterly wind up to 16 knots, I believe, today. And lining up on our left now for runway 06, the Embraer KC-390. And we are clear for takeoff. And she's rolling. Today by Captain Eduardo. The KC-390 Millennium is a standard setter. It's a state-of-the-art multi-mission military transport aircraft that's bringing unrivaled mobility, airfield operation flexibility, and the highest safety levels at low operational costs, and on a single and unique modern platform. Has multi-mission capability and interoperability. They're built in by design, allowing this aircraft to be ready for all mission profiles required by an Air Force. In addition to the Brazilian Air Force, this next-generation multi-mission transport aircraft has been selected by the Air Forces of Portugal, Hungary, Republic of Korea, Netherlands, Austria, Czech Republic, Uzbekistan, Sweden, the United Arab Emirates, Slovakia and Lithuania. The KC-390 Millennium delivers unmatched capability, reliability, versatility and performance to meet the tactical and strategic needs of air forces worldwide with seamless interoperability. The aircraft can perform a variety of missions, such as cargo and troop transport, cargo and paratroopers airdrop, aerial firefighting, and air-to-air refueling. The KC-390 Millennium can also be used to perform several humanitarian missions, such as search and rescue, medical evacuation, launch of supply for humanitarian aid, and the aerial firefighting. The aircraft is capable of carrying up to 26 metric tons of cargo at a maximum speed of 470 knots, with the ability to operate in austere environments including unpaved or damaged runways. The KC-390, the refueling version of the aircraft, can receive fuel from another KC-390 using pods which are installed under the wings. This is the only aircraft in the world in this segment to carry out such an operation. Since entering service with the Brazilian Air Force, Portugal, Hungary, and more recently with the Czech Air Force, the KC-390 has proven its capability, reliability and performance, with mission-capable rates of over 93% and mission completion rates above 99%, demonstrating just how exceptional its productivity is in this category. Some performance specs now. Maximum concentrated payload, 26 metric tons. Maximum distributed payload is 23 metric tons. Maximum cruise speed of 470 knots, true airspeed, and an altitude ceiling of 36,000 feet. It is capable of carrying heavy combat vehicles weighing up to 26 metric tons, an unobstructed cargo compartment with a volume of 169 meters cubed was optimized to provide extra room for over and outside cargo, accommodating combinations of vehicles, could be cargo on pallets, troops, medical patients, auxiliary fuel tanks, amongst other items. To facilitate the boarding of taller vehicles, the Millennium is also equipped with a longer cargo ramp, which reduces the cargo loading and unloading angle. Developed according to stringent requirements, the KC-390 Millennium is a transport aircraft with multi-mission capabilities with a rugged design that withstands operations from short and semi-prepared and damaged runways, as well as harsh environments, varying from the hot and humid Amazon forest down to the freezing cold Antarctic continent as well as in hot and sandy desert conditions. This one aircraft really has many capabilities. It's a highly flexible platform and combines multi-mission capabilities with the lowest life cycle cost in the medium airlift market. Offers unmatched versatility to configure the aircraft to accomplish a broader range of missions. As mentioned before, it does aerial resupply, aerial assault, air-to-air refueling, aerial firefighting, search and rescue, medical evacuation, humanitarian aid, and any other special ops. And very importantly, it can be reconfigured for all these missions in 3 hours or less. Easy to maintain, it's reliable, maintainability and availability were major design requirements for this aircraft. Reliability through proven systems, redundant architecture and robust design deliver outstanding availability levels. It also has this outstanding cargo capacity, speed and availability which results in incomparable productivity, which when associated with the low operation and maintenance costs, leads to reduced and affordable life cycle costs. This really is a very capable all-rounder aircraft.
So as the KC-390 Millennium taxis past the commentary position, I am very pleased to say we've been joined by probably the best commentator here this week so far, Lieutenant Mike from the Italian Air Force, and he'll be taking us through the Italian Air Force Typhoon display, which is coming up very, very shortly. Now, Mike, I understand that yesterday when we were doing the validation flights, we had an issue with the aircraft coming in. What's been happening?
Well, nothing serious. By the way, thanks for having me. We just experienced a heavy landing, so we just borrowed a special livery aircraft from the Fort Wing Grosseto.
So you've swapped aircraft?
Yes, just a swap aircraft. The excitement remains high.
When you're around, it always does, Mike. So we have to say a big thank you to them for stepping up and giving us a display aircraft that we can have today, yes? So a big thank you to them.
It's an honor. The pleasure is all mine, thanks to you.
Okay. So I'm going to hand over the microphone because very shortly the Typhoon hopefully will be taxiing out. He should be coming from my left. Yeah, I can see him already. He's just at the hold, and he's going to taxi out as the Chinook departs. The Chinook landed back down to collect all the stuff that dropped on the ground. So it's taking its harnesses and its crew inside. I'm sure the Land Rover is in there as well. So once he's cleared the airspace, KC-390 is just pulling around into the hangar. So I see no reason why this aircraft, the Typhoon, and just as I said that, it started moving forward. It's like... So Mike, tell me about this Typhoon tail design. What's that on the back of the Typhoon on the tail? It looks fantastic.
Thank you, Joe, and thanks for asking. Well, on the tail, you see the portrait of Prince Amedeo, Duke of Aosta, who commanded the 4th Wing back in 1930s, and to whom the wing is dedicated. So alongside the image of the rampant horse, the wing historic emblem. So this paint scheme marks 95 years since the wing's founding, and it's a fitting tribute to a man remembered for a chivalry he showed even his enemies, earning him the respect of enemies and the British themselves. So, during the Second World War. So he was also given honors of war when he surrendered to British commander General Alan Cunningham. after the Battle of Amba Alaji in 1941. As we see the typhoon taxiing, well, what a wonderful day. High pressure, mostly clear, dry, 25 degrees Celsius, correct me if I'm wrong, and just a gentle breeze, 10 knots out of the northeast to keep things honest. So you couldn't order a better flying weather for a jet solo display. So Mattia Nucciarelli, the Italian demo pilot from Reparto Sperimentale di Volo, well, you imagine, was grinning ear to ear after briefing. So let's see what he holds in store for us. Well, Typhoon cleared for takeoff and commence display from ATC. Everything is ready. Takeoff. Let's get started straight into the vertical. Vertical climb held purely on engine thrust with a controlled roll all the way up. So twin engines, huge power, excellent thrust-weight ratio. So high thrust, low weight. That's why the well-known Eurojet 200 engines were chosen, each delivering 60 kilonewton, rising to 90 with afterburners engaged. Probably still worth remembering that Eurofighter Typhoon has just passed 1 million flying hours, and at exactly the same time, the Eurojet 200 engines, 2 of them on every single aircraft, have logged 2 million engine flying hours between them. So, as Major Mattia Nucciarelli takes to the sky the Reparto Sperimentale di Volo Typhoon, well, remember, everything you see, every vertical climb, every high-speed pass, every tight turn is powered by an engine with 2 million hours of proven performance behind it. After a quick G-check, she's back along the display line, upside down. Among the first fighters to make extensive use of composite materials, the Typhoon uses a delta wing as the best trade-off between subsonic and supersonic performance. But unlike the Tornado, you will remember, here the engineers ditched variable swept wings in favor of a fixed delta to avoid complexity, save weight, and simplify maintenance. Well, after the inverted pass, still negative loads on the pilot with a negative wing over 60 degrees nose up and 50,000 feet at the top. And then ascent outer loop to highlight the Delta 4-plane configuration, essentially the trademark of this aircraft. Well, what you see in the sky is guided from below. The squadron commander, Lieutenant Colonel Luca Guasti, leads the display like a maestro with his orchestra, supported by the ground operator and 2 photographers and video operators. Now she's back along the display line with the speed brought down to minimum sustainable level. The delta wing keeps the jet stable at low energy, giving unbroken view of the configuration. This is a slow bus. The 4-plane delta design gives the Typhoon the size of aerodynamic edge. As angle of attack increases, the 4 planes fire powerful vortices over the delta wing surface that energize the airflow over the delta wing. Well, that comes with drag, of course, but the interaction creates an area of intensely low pressure over the upper surface, while pressure beneath remains higher. That's how the jet keeps producing powerful lift at extreme angles of attack. Of course, long after conventional wings would have stalled. High alpha roll on our left, here in the UK is called barrel turn. And then rolling in at 200 knots, we'll see the Typhoon pulling into a tight looping climb, climbing through 5,000 feet and odd. Well, throughout the loop, pitch rate and energy are carefully managed to maintain a constant radius before the aircraft returns precisely onto its entry line. And then the next maneuver will be a demonstration of the Typhoon's automatic low-speed recovery system. We'll see climbing at only 85 degrees nose up, idle power, then the aircraft will slow down until the recovery threshold is reached. Then the cockpit warning announces low-speed recovery twice. Then the flight control system automatically returns the aircraft to stable flight, reducing pilot workload and allowing attention to remain on the tactical picture. So, automatic low-speed recovery system in action. Three Proton now. Three full rotation on bound the longitudinal axis with no appreciable loss of altitude energy. Flight controls manage the envelope throughout. Well, next, a slight climb of 20,000 feet to perform a slow roll. But nose up 5 degrees, top rudder in, and she starts rotating around the horizontal axis. As the nose wants to drop, the opposite rudder comes in to hold the line. The hands barely move, quarter stick held steady. Every centimeter is calibrated to the roll rate. no altitude lost, no speed bled off, so 360 degrees all the way around. And now a shallow clover turn will flow into a 45-degree climb and straight into a half Cuban 8. Well, each maneuver is precisely flown while also positioning the aircraft with the height, speed and spacing required for the next run over the line. And she comes back around for a second run down the line, just shy of the sound barrier, 0.9 Mach. Here, the Typhoon shows off the combination of low drag, high thrust, and exceptional energy retention that defines its performance envelope. So, the Typhoon's Delta four-plane configuration and flight control computers work together to deliver outstanding agility without sacrificing stability. And now, one last maneuver to bring the display to a close. Vertical climb. Climb. Mattia deliberately drops the gear under full load. This is his personal signature on the display, proving the system will perform even when it's pushed hard. What if anyone's Well, the Typhoon was built for close-in combat with superb controllability, had high angles of attack in an age when dogfighting was still the dominant paradigm. Back then, beyond visual range weapons were only just coming into play. The current idea of an aircraft as part of an integrated system of systems was still just over the horizon. So she was designed to fight at the edge of the envelope. That's why her display feels so dynamic and honest, even alongside the newer jets developed around very different operational ideas. Touchdown for the Typhoon, Mattia Nocerelli from Reparto Sperimentale di Volo. Well, and now, not your usual airshow tune, this one, but today Wonderwalls for the England lads in honor of that 2026 World Cup run. Well played indeed. So this was Mike Palumbo speaking from the Flight Test Wing, Reparto Sperimentale di Volo, and on behalf of our commander, Colonel Giuseppe Gentile, and all the pilots, engineers, technicians from the Reparto Sperimentale di Volo, thanks for your attention. Arrivederci.
Mike, thank you so much. Thank you to you and your team for bringing this remarkable aircraft here and giving us the insight into the capability of this multi-role fighter, and explaining a little bit how the onus, the pressure is taken off the pilot in respect of the actual physical flight controls in order to maintain and improve the awareness of the overall air situation. Fascinating. So if you could take our thanks back to your team, Mike, and we hope to see you the rest of the week as well. So, coming up next, we have the Bombardier Global 8000, which my esteemed colleague will be talking you through.
Those leading edge slats will further increase the area and the camber of the wing, and that allows slower, safer speeds on landing, as the aircraft is now demonstrating. The advantage of these slower approach speeds are twofold, of course. Gives more time for the pilot to react to any critical stage of flight. And the unmatched ability to fly at low speeds allows the Global 8000 aircraft to access many airports, previously inaccessible for aircraft of this size. As you can see, fully configured for landing as it waved its way through. Landing gear down and flaps down as well, but now it's cleaning the aircraft up. And the aircraft will reposition as the aircraft gets ready for its final pass. Let's talk about the flight deck technology on the Global 8000. The technology is fascinating. It features the most reliable fly-by-wire technology available on a business aircraft. The workload of the pilot is alleviated by a high level of automation, such as automatic fuel transfer so the pilots can focus on more essential tasks. Pre-flight is ready in 15 minutes from the moment the pilot settles into the seat. That is something to prep an aircraft that size in 15 minutes. Engines running and ready to roll. The flight deck features enhanced vision systems with infrared cameras. It also has synthetic vision systems with computer-generated imagery and a weather radar system on board that automatically scans for weather cells. Beautiful top shot there. Bombardier Global 8000. The sun bouncing off it. Farnborough International 2026. We've talked about some speed and the range. We've seen the Global 8000 aircraft's impressive short field takeoff performance. The aircraft pulls away from us on the 45. It's going to start banking right. And you can see the gear just starting to drop down. Let's talk about its landing capabilities. The combination of a wing with a leading edge slats and carbon fiber brakes means that the Global 8000 aircraft can land in distances as short as 2,700 feet. That's just over 820 meters. And looking at the size of that aircraft, it's hard to believe you can actually do that. So we're going to do a high performance landing. Approach speed of 112 knots, which again is incredibly slow for an aircraft of its size. It's sort of Cessna 150 approach speeds. You can see he's got a good sync rate coming on as well with the aircraft. Those landing lights blazing a path for the aircraft. We're looking for a landing distance of about 2,700 feet. Short and smooth is what we're after. Now the power selection is to be back, full retard. Get ready for a slight pitch up on the nose. And smooth it does it. Bang on the bars. Now watch the configuration change. The air brake buckets deployed. Flaps, doors, everything. And look at that roll. That was from there to there, yeah, about 2,000 meters if that. That's fantastic. So imagine having an aircraft this size that you can hop on board and you can fly from Los Angeles to Farnborough, but you could stop in a runway. Practically, you could stop up at Blackbush, I would have thought, lengthwise. It just opens up so many possibilities of where an aircraft this can fly. So a big thank you to everybody at Bombardier for bringing this Global 8000. We'll be seeing this, of course, throughout the rest of the week. It is, of course, the latest development of the Montreal-based company Bombardier, an evolution of that global 750 or 7500, as I should say. Family of aircraft have amassed over 200 flight hours, 200,000 flight hours, that's a lot. 150 plus speed records, and at present 250 aircraft in service. So, GE moving off.
So, Joe, we've had a slight reshuffle in the program. The L159 has been bounced now just to go after the UAE of Fuzan Al Emirat. So that'll be our next display, and it's quite a wonderful display to be having here. So the first fast jet display team that we've had at Farnborough in 10 years. So it is really something. So we're hoping to crack on with that in a few minutes.
Okay, so Fuzan Al Emirat, which is the national aerobatic team of the United Arab Emirates. As I said earlier, this has been a long time since we've had a fast jet team at Farnborough because of such tight restrictions in the airspace. It really is very difficult for large groups of aircraft flying together to stay within what we call the box or the boundary. And it's not even a normal box here, it sort of dips in and out in the middle. So ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Farnborough 2026 International Air Show, our visitors from the United Arab Emirates, fresh off a very successful tour of the United States, where the aircraft displayed, helped the Americans celebrate 250 years of nationhood. As I said earlier, we would normally have 7 aircraft in Hassan Al Emirat, but because of some technical reasons, we've dropped down now to 5. And the 7 aircraft would normally represent the 7 Emirates of the United Arab Emirates. I lived for many years in Dubai, so this for me is like my home team. And I'm so proud of the team and the work that they've done, and being able to go international, not just here, but also, like I said, in America as well. And those international routes are now open to the aircraft of Hassan Al Emirat. Originally, they flew the Aeromaki MB335, 339 I should say, and it was a fantastic display. I loved it. They did some great crazy flying in the old Aeromakis. But the team recently debuted last year at the Dubai Air Show, where I was lucky enough to be commentating. This new aircraft, we'll get a good close look at it as it taxis back. It's an exciting new aircraft, the L-15E Falcon. That marks the biggest change to the team's history since it formed originally back in 2008. So the Aeromaki is out, but the new aircraft are in. The UAE's National Aerobatic Team has transitioned to this modern advanced jet trainer, making its international debut, I said, over in America. That's because this aircraft, you can do air-to-air refueling, which together with the Air Force and Air Defense of the United Arab Emirates and their fantastic air-to-air refueling capabilities, basically gives Hassan Al Emirat now a global reach. It can go anywhere in the world and demonstrate the skill and the professionalism of the United Arab Emirates Air Force and Air Defense. The L-15E is a 4th generation advanced jet trainer designed for high performance flying. It's powered by 2 afterburning turbofan engines, and it offers a significantly greater speed, acceleration and climb performance than its predecessor. So obviously with just 5 aircraft displaying instead of the 7, there's going to be some gaps in the formations, but we still hope to see the full display that we have sequenced for, especially for Farnborough International Air Show 2026. So the team's just been given permission from the tower. We're going to line up on runway 24. And there will be some changes, I'm sure, to the routine. So we'll see the aircraft as it comes in and we'll adapt accordingly.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يتقدم الآن فريق فرسان الإمارات لأولى استعراضاته في معرض فامبرا الدولي هنا في المملكة المتحدة. فريق فرسان الإمارات سيتقدم بعد قليل لاستعراضاته هنا في هذه المشاركة. فريق فرسان الإمارات يقدم عروض جوية استثنائية. اليوم ستشاهدون فريق فرسان الإمارات يقوم بجولات واستعراضات فريدة من نوعها بطائرته الجديدة ال15 من الجيل الرابع. فريق فرسان الإمارات يمثل دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة ووزارة الدفاع. فريق فرسان الإمارات بعد قليل سيقومون بالتحليق. تابعوا معنا فريق فرسان الإمارات.
can see the green glow of the HUD systems on the Falcons. They line up. So 1, 2, 3. Looks like we've lost 4 and 5, 6 and 7. So Colonel Sultan Kindi bringing up the rear of the main flying section. Colonel Kindi will break off later and he will be the solo display pilot. So the aircraft prep, all 5 aircraft now lined up. Runway 24, ladies and gentlemen, the Farnborough International Airshow 2026. From the United Arab Emirates, Hassan Al Emirat. Fantastic formation takeoff. As I said, this L-15E is a 4th generation advanced jet trainer designed for high performance flying, and it's powered by those very unique sounding afterburning turbine fans. And of course, it has a full digital fly-by-wire system as well, as you'd expect in an aircraft of this age. That allows the pilots to fly close formation and these dynamic maneuvers that we're going to see, which have become the trademark for San Al Emirat. Now, the aircraft are gathering together into what I presume will be a diamond. As I said, because we've lost 2 of the aircraft, some of the original maneuvers that we've been briefed may be different. The 5 aircraft gathered together. From big wing into kite. Rolling around from my left. And during this next maneuver, they're going to drop from about 5,000 feet down to 300 feet, which is their minimum here. And at the bottom of those maneuvers, you're pulling about 3.5, 4 times your body weight in G. Let's see what shape they're taking. Going line abreast, by the looks of it. Here they come, San Al Emirat. Into the big wing. Then watch as the aircraft smoke off. Should start to change shape. Coming to kite, downward component. There you go, you can see 6-7 at the back, sliding in and taking up position into kite. Now you'll notice the striking colours on the aircraft as well. Of course, underneath the flag of the UAE, but on top the gold and the black. The gold representing the beautiful deserts of the UAE, and they are beautiful. Lucky enough to be many times. And the black, of course, for the blessings of the oil from the United Arab Emirates. So, aircraft changing shape. Get ready as they come back in. We're going to roll up into a loop, climbing from 400 feet up to 5,000 feet. But as they come in, we're going to get individual rolls, so aileron rolls from the aircraft as they come by. Keep an eye on each individual aircraft. Smoke on. And roll. Perfectly executed. 363. Now the aircraft pitching up to 5,000 feet. Staying exactly in position. Look at the distance between the aircraft's wings. It's absolutely as if they're flying as one aircraft. Back into kite, into the descent. And heading back out. Now the aircraft will change shape as well, the main body. In what I would call arrowhead at the moment. Watch as they turn in towards us. Look at the sun bouncing off that gold. Really nice. Give me some great photos here. So the aircraft at the front, line of rest. Up. Number 6 and 7 trailing behind 1, 2, 3, who are line abreast in front. Sheer professional flying. Look at the distance between those aircraft. Immaculate. You could get a tape measure out, measure the distance, and it is exactly. We're sorry that we lost 2 of the aircraft, but this 5 ship is really, really tight. It just shows the professionalism of Hassan Al Emirat, where they can adapt, overcome, and still provide world-class aerobatics. They are the pride of the United Arab Emirates, quite rightly. So watch the aircraft now as they return back from our right-hand side. Keep an eye out at the rear of the aircraft, Colonel Sultan Kindi, number 7. As he goes into a straight roll around his teammates and breaks away. So now, number 7 is going to approach us from crowd center. Sultan Kindi at the controls. As he pulls the aircraft back, he's doing a max Schneider bend. Speeds approaching 280 knots into that. Now the team, as I said, fresh from a tour in America, but they're heading back down to around Europe. They'll be doing, they're doing Athens on the way back to the UAE, and they'll be stopping other air shows as well, representing the United Arab Emirates and the United Arab Emirates Air Force and Air Defense. The thing I like about these new turbofan engines is you can hear them. They have a very distinctive whine. So it always gives you, so if you can't see the aircraft, it's a good idea of what they look like. Right now, coming back is the four-ship. And coming from our left. It's time for the straight DNA. Again, the maximum flying just with that four-ship is as tight as can be. Coming from our left now, Sultan Kindi. Aircraft on maximum performance. Snap header on one. Hard back on stick as he goes into a maximum 360-degree turn. 290 knots airspeed. Pulling the aircraft to its maximum G level. A lot of positive G pushing down on Sultan inside the cockpit. This is where not just his mental fitness, but his physical fitness. Make sure he's under control of that aircraft at all times. And exits exactly where he went in. Perfect. So coming back from our right, watch out as the four-ship enter in. Tight diamond formation. About that transition up to about 5,000 feet. All the way through the top. So as the four-ship depart from our left-hand side, keep an eye out for the solo. Sultan Kindi.
بمهارات فردية مرة أخرى الطيار المنفرد رقم 7 سلطان الكندي من جهة اليمين سينفذ مهارة فردية وبعد ذلك سيجتمع مع الفريق بمهارة فردية مهارة استثنائية مرة أخرى سيتقاطع العلم هنا سلطان الكندي وبدخان باللون الأحمر سيتقاطع مع الفريق مشكلين علم دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة مرة أخرى نعود لفريق فرسان الإمارات والآن بمهارات استثنائية من الطيار منفرد سلطان الكندي.
Keep an eye out on Sultan Kindi as he rolls the aircraft out at the top of that. Pitching up into a half Cuban. Loop. So Sultan comes out of that half Cuban. He's going to be coming from the right-hand side. But keep an eye out from your left. Here comes the main body of aircraft. as we do the flag cross. Sultan pitching the aircraft up into the trail of the 4 leading aircraft. So we're approaching the end of the display, but we definitely need to save the best for the last. All 5 aircraft will join up together on the right-hand side, and then they will come in from the right-hand side. Now, because we lost the 2 aircraft, I'm going to assume 1, 2, and 3 will keep the big formation at the front, and 6 and 7 will roll around the outside, and they will be creating a DNA helix, as in your DNA. But this maneuver is called the UAE DNA.
دخول فريق فرسان الإمارات بعد قليل بأشهر المناورات لدى فريق فرسان الإمارات، منفذين مناورة DNA الإمارات، حيث قدم فريق فرسان الإمارات وعبر المحيطات والأرض واليابس هنا للمشاركة في هذا العرض الاستثنائي. لقد قدمنا بجيناتنا هنا وبمهارات الطيارين والطائرات هنا. الآن فريق فرسان الإمارات من على يمين المنصة سيدخلون بمناورة DNA الإمارات. رحبوا مرة أخرى بفريق فرسان الإمارات.
Smoke on. 6, roll. 7, roll. In the colours of the United Arab Emirates, we have United Arab Emirates DNA over the skies of Farnborough International Air Show 2026. A huge thank you to Fasan Al Emirat and also to their commentator who's come along, Ibrahim. Thank you, shukran. And we will be looking forward to seeing the team and yourself over the next week. And we hope you've enjoyed your time at Farnborough on the opening day. I'd just like to say you've all done your country proud. Thank you. So coming up next, Kath, what's happening with that L159?
Still waiting to hear for definite, but obviously we're very much hoping that it's going to go ahead. It's Aero L159 Alpha of the Czech Air Force. So we're just waiting to hear now.
Okay. So obviously we'll have to recover Fasan Al Emirat right now, and we will, once we've done that, bring you up to date on what's happening with the Aero 159A. It's called an ALCA, which stands for Advanced Light Combat Aircraft. So, ladies and gentlemen, just been checking with the Flying Control Committee, and unfortunately we have lost the L159. So that means Fasan Al Amarat were our last flying display for the day. And we hope you had an interesting day, not just watching the flying display, but I'm sure there's some fantastic things to see in the halls. I'm very jealous that I didn't get a chance to go up and have a look. We hope to see you here again tomorrow. And I would like to thank my co-host, Kath Fisher. And Kath, you made history today, the first woman to commentate at Farnborough International Air Show. I'm very proud of you. Carry on, you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been fascinating seeing the future of aviation and really understanding what Farnborough Trade Show is all about, bringing together innovation and the future of flying and transportation and future militaries, and ending up with a show, a team like Fasan Al Amarat, who just seem to adapt very quickly to the changing situations, as many pilots do, but in particular, just a real show of their airmanship, being able to adapt so quickly, so professional and with humility. So a great way to end a very interesting day.
We hope you have a safe journey home. And on behalf of Kath and myself, Joe McGrath, it's been a pleasure being your commentator today. We hope you enjoyed it. And inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow.